Yeah, again, a lot of inside days right into support. So we had that pretty strong bounce attempt on Thursday, and then Friday was kind of an inside day, very constructive, with some names that reclaim their prior day's high to just confirm kind of a daily reversal. But most of the stuff setting up mainly inside day, so there's a lot of actionable setups and very pivotal area of the market, if we could say. So inside days are still indecision candles or bars, whatever you use, and those can certainly flip either side, but I'll always go with the trend. What's the trend? What's the continuation pattern? Obviously the win rate will be much higher if you focused within the trend, right? So all right, so we'll start this session, and it's a very unofficial session once again. Like I said, I just thought that there was a lot of good looking charts in the market right now. There's a lot of stuff setting up, so I just wanted to do a quick session, quick video to go through the liquid leaders and just go chart by chart and explain what I see and why would I trade a stock, why I would not, and what do I look in the names to include them in the watch list, the focus list. So that's basically the idea, to build my focus list for tomorrow with you. So the chat is open. You can also request to talk. This is a very small group session because I called this pretty late. But don't hesitate, guys, to pitch in, throw ideas, or any other charts. So I'll just bring up TradersLab, as this is what I use for my routines. So yeah, usually I use kind of those two scans that I build. So the daily structure, which is basically the liquid leaders that are pulling back into their 21 DMA structure, but not necessarily in the weekly structure. And the weekly structure pullback is having both. So there's a confluence of the stocks pulling back both in their daily and weekly structures. So usually I really like to use those two scans, but once in a week or a couple of times a week, I like to go through this liquid leader scans, and there's 52 names right now. So that's everything that I trade. It's my universe list, my sandbox, whatever you want to call it. That's the stocks that I want to trade. So what are those? So stocks above $10, stocks with more than 500 millions daily liquidity, with more than 10 billions market cap, that are not in China or Hong Kong, and not biotech and some other sectors or groups like asset management, drugs manufacturers, financials, stuff that I don't want to trade. So real estate, REITs, in this stuff I don't want to trade, so I remove those. ATR from 2.5 to 7. Volatility, no. Volume, more than 1 million shares traded per day. And relative strength, so that's the RS rank. So that's a composite from 1 week to 1 year relative strength. along distance from the 50 weeks high and low, and no earnings in no, I removed that one, but in the daily and weekly pullback scans, I have 2 weeks to earnings. So I don't want to trade in stocks that are within 2 weeks from their earnings. So that's what building this 52 results. So pretty narrow, but to be honest, that's all that I need to really focus my system on the best potential ideas and best potential stocks that are already leading the market because of the RS rank, and that are liquid enough to be supported and traded by institutions. That's why basically I build this liquid leader scan. So what I like to do is go in to the mini charts and just go one by one, quickly looking what is extended from the 21 DMA, what's actionable, etc., etc. So we start and we're sorted by RS rank. So you basically have kind of the strongest stocks at the top. So we start with HAP, so new 52 weeks high-ish on Friday, very strong continuation. It's extended from the 21 DMA, so not actionable for me. Even on Thursday, on this small 3 days pullback, it's just too strong for me. It's too extended right now. NBIS, so if you're looking like to trade those are still great opportunities. If you don't care to buy too extended from the 21, but myself, I just follow my system. But stuff like NBIS, kind of a retest of that structure high right here. You have a 2-day pullback. You can play the daily reversal, but again, it's a bit extended. Certainly too for me. Same thing for IONIC. Waiting for that 21 DMA to come into play, so too extended for me. What is really started to get interested is Robinhood and Palantir. So those are two top stock of the prior cycle, so April's rally. Those two stocks were 1 and 2. Those were really leading the market. And I love to see those two setting up at the right market spot and at the same time right here. So both had their base breakout. Hood had that retest of the base area, the retest of the 21 DMA as well. And right now we're building a higher low structure right as we retest this swing high. And with a tight inside day on Friday as well. So we're right into the buy area. We have an inside day right as we retest that base area. So for me, that's a clear candidate for the focus list. Whoop, sorry, wrong one. And I'll just go through all the names, and even if I have positions, I will keep them in the process, and I will add them to the focus list just to show you my process and what I look in the charts, right? So next one, Palantir, same type of action. So we had that larger pullback, really came in with the market, higher low structure, and now we're building another high low structure right as we retest that recent swing high just above the 21 DMA structure. So we're right into that buy area, tight inside day on Friday, so you can play the inside daily reversal. So basically the Friday's high pivot on the reclaim to confirm the reversal. So that's another one for sure that is going in the focus list. Then WDC2 extended, STX2 extended, CLS looking very good. We have that base breakout, that tight flag, and it was too extended. But now with that shakeout, so we shook out below that range on Thursday, and we have that daily reversal pivot above Thursday's high, which we tried to reclaim on Friday but just came back in. So very good entry at the Thursday's high pivot for confirmation of the daily reversal. That's a name that you want in your focus list. LRCX2 extended, NTC, so Intel 2 extended, WBD 2 extended, B as well. Roblox, that's the kind of charts that you want to get your focus on. Good base, that's about 6 to 8 weeks of basing action. You have that pullback, that 21 DMA reclaim. Then since then we've been building higher low and higher low with a shakeout once again on Thursday. So you see the pattern. We had a lot of shakeouts on Thursday, and usually when you see those shakeouts into prior structure and you kind of try to break below and swing back up right away, watch for that daily reversal. So the high of that shakeout, that pivot reclaim is your entry signal, just like we had on Roblox on Friday. So it was triggered on Friday. It was, I think, in the focus list already, but you can still look into it. If we don't gap up on Monday, then you can look for a retest of that reversal pivot. And the retest would be a good entry. So definitely that's the kind of chart, and you have that VCP pattern as well in there. So peg, reaction, faded, pullback, and then we're contracting on the right side even if we build higher lows. Micron 2 extended, that's one that I will look, especially after earnings are behind. Then I will look for potentially adding to my core position in the next few weeks, but it needs time. Same thing for TSM 2 extended. You have CRDO. That's one that I get very interested this week. So that's a clear leader. It's a hard one to trade, but once it trends, it trades well. So we're having that base area right here that we broke out, then likely the first initial leg down, and I would look for the daily reversal and 21 DMA structure reclaim. And maybe it's not ready, and maybe it needs more time to kind of tighten up on the right side, but right now is a pretty tight spot to manage your risk. And if the market is setting up, if the stock is setting up, then this low should hold. So if you protect yourself right with the 21 DMA structure and you give it a bit of space above that low, then you should be good. So energy ripping, but very extended. AMAT extended. Nvidia, wow, that's a nice chart, and we'll look at the weekly later, but that's the kind of base that I really like. Jamin, yeah, it's yours, and probably mine will be very close to that. So yeah, Nvidia, so that big base breakout, right? So if we take that weekly chart, you get that massive weekly base right here. It was from early summer last year when that peaked. And since then we've been going sideways. That big base, we even retested that low, and now we had that breakout, and that's the first real consolidation, that first real base that we have in the last 6 to 8 weeks. And since the low in September, we've been building higher lows. So first higher low here, and right now it seems that we're still building another higher low. Right as we retest the 21 DMA structure, we're now really tight. So we had that big breakout bar on that AI news. And since then, that's almost kind of 1, 2, 3, 4 inside days. So really nice setup. Honestly, I might add more to my position on Monday and be very aggressive on Nvidia if we reclaim Friday's high. That's how I feel about that chart, and it's Nvidia. So if the market goes, it's almost certain that Nvidia will follow. It's still the AI leader, so you want to get some skin in that game, and being the kind of mega cap leader of the recent years. So yeah, I'm ready to go heavy on Nvidia if it confirms it. So definitely in the focus list, right? You have Reddit, a bit like CRDO, but I'm not sure. I prefer kind of the left side of CRDO. It's more organized. Reddit, I didn't like that volatility up there, and I have a hard time to trust that stock, to be honest, but that's probably a personal thing. So it's not going into focus list for me. Where would your stop be for Nvidia? So if you're not sure, just take a look at my Git book as well. But basically what I do is always put my stop at the low of the 21 DMA structure. So that's why you see me buy the 21 DMA structure reclaim or a pullback into it. And what I do is I put my stop at the low of that structure. Right here, so it's around 173.55, and my stop stays there up until, so I changed a bit my rules recently. So what I do now is I wait for my 2R and 5R targets to be it, and if they are, then I switch to the weekly structure, the weekly chart to manage the trade. But yeah, that's the low of the 21 DMA structure that I use. I use soft stop loss, so I basically wait at the end of the day just to make sure that we don't have kind of a shakeout, and just to give a bit of time to the stocks to see if it can spring back up inside the structure. But yeah, that's the play for Nvidia as well, at the low of the structure. So yeah, next one, VST. I think it now looks way better than GV, which I was last week, but I didn't like the action. But yeah, now I like VST much better. So we have kind of that pullback structure that we broke out. So lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, boom, breakout. And that AI news. So you see the AI team as well. So you had that Nvidia pop, all the oh, it was right here. So all those kind of utilities for the data center energy, all that. You had the VRT, so all the hardware stocks of the AI ecosystem that popped as well. So it seems that this trade kind of coming back. We had that news and kind of shakeout, so we digested the news, basically came back to pre-news levels. And we're tight, so I'm looking for the upside on this. So we have that confirmation on VST, on Nvidia, and if you look around on those AI names, that's pretty the same setup overall. So yeah, VST breakout, so 21 DMA reclaim and backtest. So that's one of my preferred setup to see after the reclaim. We have that backtest of the structure. And Friday was the setup on VST, so it was basically the Thursday. Yeah, good point. We have a gap fill. So on that news right here, we filled the gap. So basically retested the higher price prior of the gap. So we filled that. And then Friday we confirmed the daily reversal. So we reclaim Thursday's high for the confirmation. I would put that in the focus list, but not on a gap up. Very much on weakness as we retest kind of the 21 EMA, the reversal pivot as well. So if we retest that 204.50-ish, then that's a nice weakness to initiate. HPE, don't like the chart. IMS, it was in focus list on Friday for that setup. It was looking good, but I'm not trusting that name personally, so I didn't trade it. But it was Thursday's high pivot for the reversal confirmation, and it worked nicely. Tesla, very strong, one of the leader right now, making a new high, almost new high, but it's extended. Same thing for TER, and yeah, we discussed that. AVGO, probably one of the leader in semiconductors and cybersecurity since the April's low. So we have that earnings, so that peg, power earnings gap, we made that new high, and since then the market was in contraction, so it pulled back to the 21 DMA structure. You have that Thursday's high pivot for the reversal, so it tried to gap up just above on Friday, but market, especially in tech, was quite heavy Friday morning, and it came back down. So it's basically an inside day. So you can take the Thursday's high pivot for your reversal pivot and your confirmation for a trade entry. So AVGO definitely in focus list. New, I think it need more time. When I see kind of a frozen rope kind of trend, and get a first pullback into structure, I think it needs more time. Dash has that look that I like, so you have that nice uptrend since the April's low, then couple of weeks base, higher low structure, so you have that 21 DMA structure, reclaim and backtest with that higher low, and you can use Thursday's high pivot for an entry. But personally, I think there's more interesting stuff. It's been basing, but kind of choppy trade as well, and not that strong after April, so I wouldn't focus there. ANET, I'm still in that name. I still think it looks good. Basically with that peg, and since then we've been building higher lows in the 21 DMA structure. So I'm already in it, but it would be in my focus list for sure. Yeah, I will cover bull after I go through this list. So the idea was just to go through the liquidators, but I can look at other stuff after. So bull, I don't think it fits my universe criterias. VRT, I still think it looks very good. We have when I talked about VST and the same type of action that you see in the AI names, look at this pullback, orderly pullback below the 21 DMA structure, pop back up, a small trend, and that back test building that higher low structure on the right side. And look at VRT, same thing. So we have that pop, that pullback below the 21 DMA structure, boom, that AI news, then a small uptrend and back test into the 21 DMA structure with a higher low. So we had a news with Microsoft going into the cooling game of the data center, and that affected VRT. But we had that kind of news not so long ago, and it still went up. I think there's a big moat in that, and there's space for a lot of folks in the space. So I still really like that weekly chart. So we'll cover that a bit later. But yeah, just based on the daily, you have that same structure as VST. So pullback, pop above the 21 DMA structure, small initial reaction, then back test. And then you have Friday, that inside day to play again. So Friday's high pivot for a daily reversal. You have the same pattern on CG. Pullback below the 21 DMA structure, AI news, small uptrend, back test. But I always go with the leaders in the same sector. And CG is just not as strong as VST. So in that case, VST is already in the focus list. I don't need two names of the same exact group doing the same thing. So just go with the leader, ignore the rest at this point. But it gives you good feedback, because when you see the whole group having the same chart structure and they're all setting up at the same time, then it builds conviction for the group to move. And then you go with the leaders, because usually that's where the biggest move will happen. After that, so Auber still I know I'm saying that for multiple months, but the chart is still looking pretty good. And we have that base again that we tried to break out, we came back in, we tried to break out, we came back in, and that's pretty tight and orderly 3-day pullback into the 21 DMA structures. We build another higher low. Friday we saw very good relative strength. We reclaimed the Thursday's high reversal pivot. So basically that triggered already an entry. But if you're not already in it, the weekly still looks amazing. Let's look at that. So you have that big multi-mount base on base. So in 2025, we built that base on base with higher lows on the weekly, still surfing the 10-week moving average structure. We had that breakout attempt 2 weeks ago. We had that news, and it closed the week very strong above that base. And again, last week we retested that 10-week moving average structure in that base area and closed back above. So it's now too close above the base structure. Seems to hold. And once again, that relative strength and that daily reversal on Friday is looking very good. So you can add that in focus list. And use Thursday's high pivot retest as an entry on weakness. CrowdStrike, good looking setup, a bit too extended from the 21 DMA for me. I'm sorry, it's looking good, but I have my rules and I know what I'm looking for. So right now it's looking very good. But if it's not going in the 21 DMA structure and within my 1 ATR from it, then I'm not trading it. That's called discipline. CVNA, bit lagging. GV, like I said, lagging VST, lagging CEG. So we had that base, that same structure, that pullback, that reclaim and backtest, and then that gap down, and we're starting to live below the 21 EMA. So GV took a hit on that relative strength because it was higher than VST when I took the position. But yeah, right now lagging and kind of living below the 21 DMA structure. You can look, if you really like the weekly chart, still looking very good. If you like the name, you can look at the 21 DMA structure reclaim for an entry. But personally, I think VST looks better. Spot, that's a pretty nice weekly chart, but choppy trader in the structure. I think there's better stuff. C Limited looking okay. Joby, so we had that in FocusList. I think it goes again, and you can see that this name, those kind of names, as being kind of a performance booster in your portfolio. You don't start with those positions. You don't have half of your exposure in those type of names. But you can complement your portfolio with those positions, as you have a lot of cushion in your portfolio, as you're having good performance on the month and year. So you can allow yourself to test them out, and have that a bit elevated risk. But if they work, they will give you good performance booster and add some alpha to your portfolio. So Joby, I think it goes in the FocusList once again. And for the same reason as last week, we have that pullback, 21 DMA reclaim and backtest with that higher low. And Thursday's high pivot again for an entry. ORCL, ORAC, I don't know if that TikTok news came after hours. I don't know, but there's some news going on with TikTok deal. I would stay away. It's in the 21 DMA structure. But yeah, a bit extended on the weekly anyway. Rivian, it was a good looking setup on that kind of range breakout, and we had that in FocusList as well. But now it's kind of wedging higher. I would look for some kind of retest of that structure personally in that 1490. When I start to just grind higher and wedge up, that's usually a sign of a potential pullback. Dell, just a bit lagging, not interested. MongoDB, never had good success with that name, but if you're about delayed reaction in pegs, that's a pretty perfect one, to be honest. So you had that massive peg, 38% gap on massive volume, kind of 4 or 5 times the average volume. Highest volume ever. So yeah, you have it here. So you have that initial trend, came back with the market to the 21 DMA structure. You have that higher low, and Friday you even had that reversal, that daily reversal being triggered. So if you're into the pegs delayed reaction type of setups, that's a pretty good one, to be honest. So you want to have that focus there. Next one. So yeah, Snow, I still think that Snow is looking pretty good, and that was kind of my play to play that delayed reaction. So I still like those plays, but I like to have them in the weekly structure as well. So that's why I'm not focused on NDB, because it's weekly extended, but Snow was not weekly extended. So we had that massive peg and pulled back into the 21 DMA structure. It was not that strong. And after that, we built that higher low structure as we back tested the daily structure. And I was able to grab some shares pretty low in the structure. And yeah, look at Thursday's high for that reversal and confirmation of a trade. So I will add it, Snow, because I think it looks very good, both on the daily, on the weekly, and you have that delayed peg reaction as well. But I'm already in it, so I will not personally trade that, but good to know if you're not in it, that Thursday's high is a pretty good spot to initiate. CDNS, just a choppy trade, not for me. Same for TEM. Shop giving away the 21 DMA structure even after a retest on Friday, so definitely not interested. First Solar, not my my preferred group. I might even remove that for the liquid leaders. I'm not a fan of the solars, but you know what, they might go. And I think the last name that is really setting up nice is AMD. So it was definitely one of the leader of the April's low. One hell of a trend above the 21 DMA structure. Moved from 75 to 180-ish, so more than doubled. And now we had that 6 to 8 weeks consolidation below the 21 DMA structure. Build that higher low structure, and yeah, we had that nice reversal on Thursday. I thought it could go on Friday, but just closed inside. It held the daily structure, so that's why I held the trade. Closed okay, but yeah, we have that higher low now. I would really look at Thursday's high pivot reclaim for an entry. And yeah, if it gives away the 21 DMA structure and it closed below, I will be out, meaning that potentially that the downtrend will reconfirm, and from that low it was maybe a bear flag, so building higher low inside into a declining structure. But I think the context is very important there, that semiconductors are setting up, the market is setting up, and I look at long setups at those bases as potential long setup as they reclaim their daily structure and push out of that pullback. So look at this setup. It's looking a lot like VST. Let's bring those back. So a bit shorter, but that's what I explained. So that's what I'm looking for AMD. So that multi-week kind of pullback as we digest below the 21 DMA structure, and then we reclaim that daily structure and start that new trend. Maybe it goes right away, but more often than not, we have that back test into the structure. So that's a bit what I'm looking for on AMD. Early week strength as we reclaim that structure, that would be ideal scenario. And then from there, we'll have to see how it handles the back test, how our buyers are stepping in to defend that new uptrend that might potentially come, but we're not sure that there yet. But yeah, It's a good leader, a bit on the 3 and 6 months relative strength time frame, but it was lagging more recently because of that bigger pullback. So just need to confirm, as it was lagging recently, and it's not a top name, but when it moves, and especially after seeing that April's run, it was a focus for me to position into AMD. So if you're not already in it, that's definitely one that goes into the focus list. All right, so what do we have? So 12 names, obviously. I won't keep 12 names. I like to keep them 6 at most. So I like to do weekly, daily. All right, so I'll just as well kind of remove the names that I'm already in. So keep in mind that that's what I see as very good setups in the market right now, in the liquid leader at least. That's what I would trade if I didn't have any exposure. But like I said, I am already in those names. So I will remove AMD because I'm already in. I will remove Robinhood, Nvidia, Palantir, Snow, and VRT. Oh, beautiful. We now have 6 names. So let's look at the weekly charts. So basically, CLS maybe a bit extended from the weekly. But we have that retest and that base structure as well, like we discussed. Roblox right in the weekly structure. CRDO, that's a lot of momentum, and like I said, might not be ready, but you can start to look at this low to hold, and if not, then maybe it needs to put kind of a 2 legs down pullback. But yeah, we're getting right into the potential buy area on the weekly as well. VST, good weekly setup. So we have that retest of that January high. We tried to break out here this summer, but kind of created that handle as well. So if you look at the weekly, we have that cup and handle, and now we have 2 tight weeks as we retest the weekly structure, retest the 10-week moving average, and that's a nice shakeout below the 2 weeks ago bar as well. AVGO getting right into the weekly structure. If you're playing weekly charts, then you can use the weekly high pivot as well. And Joby right into the weekly structure. So we have that weekly reversal here. So just something to look for, and that's why it's not kind of top of my names, but so you have that first leg down. Is this rally kind of a counter trend rally in now a downtrend, and it needs to kind of put that second leg down, or it's trying to get that continuation and that new uptrend? It's a bit deeper and not sure exactly, but there was some constructive action with that weekly high retest right here, that hold, and you can play 2 weeks ago high for a weekly reversal as well. That would be good confirmation. All right, so that's the focus list likely for me. So CLS, Roblox, CRDO, but really treating that as initial leg down, so maybe not ready. But if you want to get early in that larger or base building, then it's a good spot. VST, AVGO, and Joby. And once again, I removed those, but I think that AMD, NVIDIA, VRT, Snow are all names looking very good, but I'm already in, so I don't include them in the focus list. All right, so let's take some questions. After that, I have to start the report, so I have to write that every night. So we'll stop the session and I will get into the prime report. So what about bull? Yeah, let's look at bull. I prefer bull than bear, but yeah. What's that? Why are you? Okay, yeah, the daily is looking better. So you have that weekly structure, so that high or low, you have kind of that weekly reversal. So weekly not that bad. Yeah, I think there's stuff looking way better than this. Unless you love the story and you really have confidence in the business itself, and even then I don't trade off those. I really only look at technicals. But yeah, and I can show you the bull case, right? So you have that structure right here. You have that double bottom, that 21 DMA structure, reclaim and back test, and you have that breakout here. So yeah, the chart is there, but if you want to know my opinion, I wouldn't touch this. And just because it's not in my sandbox, in my universe list, it does not fit my criterias of leading stuff. So yeah, it could work. You can be very early in what proves to be $100 stock in a few months. But I built my system around and based on many years experience and feedback on the best stocks, the leader of the recent action. So those in a nice uptrend that are pulling back in daily or weekly structure with the market, and they are making continuation pattern within a larger uptrend. And with bull, that's not what you have. Basically, all you get since the IPO pullback was in is sideways action. So yeah, there's a nice daily setup. It can work. But once again, if you look at the history of the stock and the chart that you have in front of your eyes, why would it change just because you put the trade on? So yeah, for me, unless, and I remember we talked about other names like that, and that's very common. I was trying to trade those names all the times before. And I know some people are very good to trade them. But for me personally, unless we reclaim that stage one right here, and we really confirm that stage one breakout, we're still in that range. We're still chopping around. The stock didn't prove nothing. It didn't prove itself to be able to trend. That's a no-go for me. And usually when I try to trade those, I get chopped around and I just remember why I trade leading stuff, the real liquid names that lead the market. Like those, right? So just showing a bit of so look at those trends. That's what I want to trade. Nice trend, good leadership, and you wait for that pullback, that continuation pattern, or those nice base, but there's always a nice left side, so a nice uptrend. So we're not building a base after a pullback or a correction or a big IPO pullback. That's not the base that I'm looking for. That's a base after an uptrend. That's very different. So Alan, already 80% invested since Thursday. VRT-DDOG, ain't it? Good names. I like DDOG. It's a bit low on the R strength, and I think that's why I don't have it. But it was a clear setup in going into Friday. There's that big kind of VCP base, big wedge after the initial April's rally. And yeah, higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, and daily reversal confirmed on Friday with a full daily structure reclaim. Oh, look at that. Futures not bad. We have that daily reversal of Friday's high, so good action. The open should be interesting. Oh, nice. So Bitcoin closed 2.3%. Right into the daily structure. So like I said, Bitcoin might be in focus this week or next. I'm still thinking that the weekly chart is looking good. We still have that higher low structure that held, and now you can look at last week high, that 10-week moving average reclaim if you're trading of the weekly or of the daily. You can look for things to tighten up on the right side. Maybe we build lower highs. Maybe we need to build another higher low. We build constructive action on the right side, and then if we get that daily structure reclaim or that back test that goes after, I will be on this. How do I get the cloud with oh yeah, so yeah, thanks Jamin for showing that. So that's exactly it. You go into the settings, you have that daily, weekly, monthly moving average cloud that you can activate. Net. Yeah, that's I think Net is probably kind of the cybersecurity leader right now. That's a nice uptrend. Very, very strong. You have the confirmation of the group as well. So you have CrowdStrike setting up. You have Net. You have AVGO. You have Zscaler as well. Zscaler, we discussed that pre-market on Friday. So we had that Thursday's high reversal pivot that it did on Friday, so it was a good setup. So you really have that confirmation of the group, the cybersecurity group setting up, and Net is the leader. So you have kind of that structure retest, that higher low. You have your Thursday's high, so reversal pivot reclaim for an entry on the right side here. D-Dog is going to break the wedge. Thank you for the second sentence, because I was going on a rant here. And never assume that something will happen in the market. And I know you have to build conviction and all that. But if you build so much conviction in a setup, in a name, in a market, in a company, or anything, and if it don't happen, then I can guarantee you that it will be so hard to close that trade at a small loss, and it will probably snowball into a much bigger loss, because you'll have so much conviction in the setup, in the name, in whatever, that you will fight this. And I'm not alone to say this. If you read a lot on IBD stuff, I know that Bill O'Neill was very known for this, that sometimes it was very bullish on the market. He thought it was a new uptrend coming out, and like 4 hours later, portfolio manager were asking him about the market, and he sold everything, and he was more defensive and all that. So always go with a plan, with a scenario, but be ready to always assume that it can fail, and that's your best protection, to be flexible in the market. Because if you're too fixed-minded, then you won't be flexible. And trading is all about probabilities, statistics, and we're playing an edge, right? So if you play an edge and you expect that each hands that you'll play will be winners, that's basically saying that you will have a 100% win rate. And that's not how trading works. Oh yeah, good dinner. So have a good night. See you tomorrow. I'm about to end this anyway. I have to write the report. All right. So last one from Rum. Since power is such a big team, it looks like coal has been moving with it. BTU, METC. Do you ever make exceptions on your focus list based on new teams? Hey, that's pretty extended there. Even if it's running, there's no setup there. Okay, and that answer might be a long one, but I'll try to make it a short. I was trying to chase the odd team, the odd group, everything that was setting up. I was trying to play the rotation, etc., etc. But over time, and that's maybe just how my mind is built, and how I like to trade, and how I'm comfortable. I just found out that I was much better if I focused on a small basket of stocks. So my liquid leaders that I'm talking each day, that's 50 names, and and trying to time the market properly when those set up all at the same time, and the market is setting up after a long digestion or consolidation, and being aggressive at these moments in the liquid leaders, and whatever the group is, it's probably 80 or 90% tech stocks, growth stocks, because that's what leading usually. But yeah, I'm very focused on my process, on my system, and I won't look at anything else anymore. I know that I can get good size with only those 50 names, and I have more than enough either names or setups to be either fully invested or margin when the market is setting up. And if you read my git book, personally for me, like I explained that I was trying to chase every odd group and every odd team, etc., etc. But over time, I just discovered that the most powerful thing is to play the market waves with size. If you can just get the market timing right and get good size in your portfolio in the liquid leader name, even if they're not setting up perfectly, even if that's not kind of the oddest group, if it's in my liquid leaders, it's in my buy area while the market is setting up, that's what proved to me that to give me the most performance in the recent years. So that's really why I tailored my system through that, and everything else for me is noise. And once you start to break your system, you start to look at a bit everything. You kind of break your discipline, and for me discipline is everything. And sometimes I will pass on a very good idea that is shared in the Discord, or even with from another experienced trader. So Sandy's very often, almost daily, offering very good trade ideas. But for me, it's just that I need that discipline, I need that system, having that focus, and that's when I trade the best. So yeah, long answer, but just to say that I ignore everything else and I try just to focus on my stuff. And just a quick one on this. So I don't know how far this group can run, but when you're having the leader, so let's assume we can go into the I think we have call. Do we have call? I removed that one. Sorry. So I'll try to re-add the call ETF in the teams. But yeah, let's just assume that BTU is the leader right now, and then you have METC, which is kind of making a new high, but last leg was much weaker. And then you have AMR, which is kind of struggling to make a new high and potentially a double top. So when you see that dynamic, that the group is hot, the leader is super extended, and then you go down the chain of leadership and they start to be weaker and weaker once the leader is super extended. So ask yourself, what happens when the group pulls back and when the leader pulls back because it's so extended? Then I would be very surprised that the lagging stuff of the group are running when the leader is pulling back, right? So keep that dynamic in mind, and that's what I always want to be in the leader, because you get the most cushion when the group runs, and then when it pulls back, you're not getting stopped out. Because if BTU pulls back, and let's say that you had a great entry right here, or even better you took that really nice setup right here, so you had that pullback 21 DMA reclaim and back test, and you were able to grab that daily reversal right here. So next day, big pop, small flag, and then you probably hit that 2R, 5R target. You're into your runner. Then you have good cushion, and you're ready for that stock to just normal reaction, very constructive, to pull back into the rising structure. And so you have the cushion to handle that. But if you're stick into an AMR, for example, or a METSI, so which one? So yeah, so if you're in the third or fourth best names, so maybe you had a great entry right here. So that was harder to take because it gapped up, but let's say that you had a great entry. So maybe you hit that too hard target, but chances are that while BTU will pull back into the 21 DMA structure, this one will probably break below and stop you out on 2/3 of your position. While if you play BTU, then you're on your runner and it will pull back naturally into daily structure and give you another opportunity to add and not being stopped out in the lagging name. So keep that dynamic in mind as well. SMR, yeah, I remember we discussed that one, right? I remember in pre-market session we discussed that it's in the same group as Oklo, right? So Oklo, we had that entry right here, big uptrend, and SMR setup was right here. So on September 18. So look at that. So Oklo is already breaking out into new high, getting super extended, and that's the leader, right? That's the leader of the group. And then you take SMR right here as Oklo is making a new high, super extended. Yeah, you have a nice spike, but look what happens when the leader is just casually pulling back into the rising daily structure. Then you have those lagging names that are either stopping you out or you're back into your entry level. So it's making a much harder trade to handle, to hold, and to make good profits, right? So that's a very good example of what I was trying to explain. Yeah, LEU, same example. It was already leading. September 18, it was right here. So breaking out from that base as well. So entry was before, so best entry was here. So almost 2 weeks before SMR, we had entries in LEU and Oklo, which are the two leaders of the group. And then when those leaders are pulling back, then the lagging that gave entries 2 weeks later are just pulling back into your entry or stopping you out below the daily structure. So that's exactly the dynamic that I was trying to explain. And you will see that over and over and over. And listen, I I had frustration, losses. I had a lot of losses and red months trying to figure that out. And basically that's why I just trade the leaders and the top relative strength names and trying to position early. But yeah, being in the leaders of either the market or the group will give you much smoother trades, easier, so much bigger momentum out of the gate. So it will allow you to de-risk, to take your trims by the time they pull back. They will give you much cleaner trends, and at the end we will be able to hold those positions instead of being chopped around and being stopped out. All right, so 8:30, almost. Yeah, we had more than 1 hour. So I hope you enjoyed that small session, guys. And we'll try to do that once a week if you liked it. Great, glad you enjoyed. And once again, I kind of did that big liquid leader scan kind of large review, but I basically have the same names now in those two scans. So if you go into the daily structure pullback, so you have the same names that I added to the focus list. So Robinhood, Palantir, CLS, CRDO, Roblox, they're all there. So TradersLab making my life way easier. So VST, that's all the name that we selected and handpicked by going through all the liquid leader scan. But if you want to make your life easier, you can look at those two daily and weekly scans that I built. All right, so have a good night, everyone, and see you tomorrow for the pre-market session, and hopefully a nice week in the market. So take care, everyone. Bye-bye.